Come on. The Price is Right, presented by new Striped toothpaste with germ-killing hexachlorophene for the double protection of toothpaste plus mouthwash. And now your hostess on The Price is Right. Here she is, Arlene Francis.
To The Price is Right. Well, Bill Cullen is still on vacation, and I am still working, and so everything's in its proper place. And the first thing we're going to do is meet the four nice people that are with us tonight. Good evening, Mrs. Patrick, Mrs. Margie Patrick, a teacher from Fort Worth, Texas, who is back for the third week, having won $22,054 worth of merchandise. Mrs. Patrick, it seems to me you won an airplane last week, didn't you?
Yes, Arlene, my husband's all ready to take the lessons, and I'm just about convinced.
You're both going to straighten up and fly right, huh?
Oh, yes, we're going to try.
Well, that's wonderful. You can fly all around Fort Worth in that little plane very happily, I'm sure. And now our next guest is Mr. David Tallman, a construction worker from Spring Valley, New York. What exactly do you do as a construction worker?
Well, we usually do mason work when the weather's right, but this time of year we do just about anything to keep busy. It's a little cold outside.
I see. You're a mason in the summertime and a shriner in the wintertime, huh?
Yeah.
All right. And our next guest is Mrs. Ruth Kaplan, a housewife from Kenwood, Pennsylvania.
You said it right.
Did I? Is that
Yes,
correct?
you did.
Kenwood. I know where it is. Do you have children watching?
Yes, I do, Arlene.
Don't lose your voice. You got a bid, you know.
I know. There are two daughters. They're 23 and 24, and they're in the audience, I hope.
Well,
one of them is married.
Maybe we'll have to bring one of them up to bid for you if you lose your voice.
They were both born on the same day, 1 year apart.
Both on the same day, 1 year apart. Well,
isn't that wonderful?
That makes it all, they're almost twins then, huh? And our next guest is Mr. Edwin Silliman, a chaplain from Fort Slocum, New York. Hello there.
Hello, how are you, Arlene?
How long have you been in the Army?
I've just been in the Army 2 weeks, and I'm out at the chaplain school at Fort Slocum.
I see. Do I address you as chaplain or lieutenant? What do you prefer?
Chaplain is fine. That's
I say
fine.
Chaplain Silliman, huh?
Chaplain Silliman.
All righty, sir. That's what I'm going to call you and wish you good luck at the same time. And
Thank
before
you.
we start the game, I'd like to give every one of you a wonderful gift from Lever Brothers, a full year's supply of Doves. All right, now you're ready to start, and of course you all know how to play the game. So just look over to the left for the first item to go up for bids on The Price is Right.
A submarine. The Healthways Deluxe two-man submarine constructed of high-impact fiberglass, 18 feet long with a 32-inch beam. It weighs 500 pounds, is equipped with clear plexiglass canopies, and is propelled by an electric motor powered by specially constructed batteries. It operates to a depth of 200 feet below the surface at a speed of 4 miles per hour or at 6 miles per hour on the surface, has 2 forward and 2 reverse speeds, and is complete with depth and decompression meters, compass, plus 2 diving units, built-in tanks, and airplane-type controls for easy manipulation of the tail steering assembly. Price authority, Healthways, Los Angeles, California. Arlene?
All righty. Well, now, Mrs. Patrick, we're going to start with you, and you got an airplane last week. Let's see if you can go underwater this week. The minimum will be $100.
I think I'll bid, started at 100.
All right. What do you say, Mr. Tallman?
200, Arlene.
200 to you, Mrs. Kaplan.
250.
A $100 minimum over the previous bid. I'm sorry,
300.
Mrs. Kaplan. $300. What do you say, Chaplain?
I'll say 400.
All right. Back to you, Mrs. Patrick.
500.
And
700, Arlene.
700. All right, Mrs. Kaplan. Take the plunge.
800.
800. What do you say, Chaplain?
800. I'll say 9.
900 to you. Back to you, Mrs. Patrick.
We're saying we could certainly be world travelers.
Good. Over and under.
1,200.
1,200. Mr. Tallman.
1450, Arlene.
1450. And now, Mrs. Kaplan, this is your last bid coming up. Your last bid was $800. His bid, Mr. Tallman's bid, was $1,450.
I don't know what to say. I have to say $1,550, don't I?
You have to say $1,550 if you want to go up.
All right, $1,550.
$1,550 is your last bid. Mr. Chaplain Silliman, what do you say? Your last bid was $900. The top bid is $1,550.
I'll say $2,000.
$2,000 even. And how about you, Mrs. Patrick? Your last bid was $1,200. The top is now $2,000.
$2,100, Arlene.
$2,100 to you, Mr. Tallman. Your bid was...
$2,200.
All right, $2,200. That's $2,100, $2,200, $1,550, $2,000 for that Healthways submarine, the Nautilus. And the actual retail price of the item is right in this envelope, and it is $2,500, and the winner is Mr. Tallman. There's the card, Mr. Tallman. Congratulations to you. Yes, indeed. That means you have a bonus. So if you catch any fish while you're down there in your submarine, you can cook them on this bonus. A new range. There's a deluxe model 442 electric range by the Tappan Stove Company, designed with 2 ovens, a rotisserie, eye-level controls, and thermostatically controlled top units which slide out and back when not in use. And it's complete with 3 bronze glow birch cabinets by the Shyrick Company. And, Mr. Tallman, if you'd like a little underwater practice, you can do it in your own swimming pool. Look at the screen, Mr. Tallman. There it is on the screen coming up. A 16 by 32-foot Buster Crabbe unitized swimming pool by the Cascade Pool Corporation, Edison, New Jersey, and it's equipped with 10-year guaranteed vinyl liner, filtration system, underwater vacuum, and it will be installed on your property in 1 day, and it's all yours. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Okay, the bids are instantaneously recorded on our tote machine furnished by the American Totalizator Company, a division of Universal Control Incorporated. We're going to have another terrific... All right, now, panel, for the next item, just look over to the drapes on the left.
A car. A car.
1961 car. The sleek Ford Fairlane 2-door sedan designed to travel 30,000 miles before a chassis lubrication and 4,000 miles between oil changes. It's powered by a standard 6-cylinder engine, has a diamond luster finish, automatic adjusting brakes, standard manual transmission, aluminized muffler, and is equipped with fresh air heater and defroster and white sidewall tires. This 1961 Ford Fairlane 2-door sedan will be in your driveway if you make the best bid. Price Authority, Ford Motor Company, Dearborn, Michigan.
All righty, and incidentally, you're bidding for the Ford Fairlane at its FOB delivered price, Detroit, Michigan. All right, now we're going to start the bidding on this Ford car with Mr. Tallman, our last winner. What's your bid?
Boy, I would sure go in my garage. I think I'll start at $900, Arlene.
All right. Now, how about you, Mrs. Kaplan?
This isn't one bid item.
No, it isn't. You can just go on. $100 minimum.
Well, that's $1,000.
$1,000. Chaplain, what do you say?
I'll say $1,200.
All right, you considered that very well. Now, Mrs. Patrick.
$1,300.
$1,300 to you, Mr. Tallman.
$1,400.
You're just staring at it with love in your eyes.
$1,700.
$17 to you, Mr. Sullivan, Chaplain.
I'll say $1,800. I'll bet 18.
$1,800. Back to you, Mrs. Patrick.
$2,000.
$2,000. Mr. Tallman.
$2,300.
Okay, Mrs. Kaplan. 2,400. Now, Chaplain, this is going to be your last
What is my...
bid.
What is my bid?
I'm going to tell you, $1,800 is your last.
1,800. And the high
And
bid?
the high is 24.
And the high is 24?
Uh-huh. What do you feel?
I'll freeze.
Chaplain, listen to the people. That's what a chaplain's supposed to do, I guess. All right, then. Mrs. Patrick, you are 2,000. The top bid is 2,400. What do you say?
25.50.
25.50 to you, Mr. Toll.
I'm going to freeze, Arlene.
You're going to freeze at 23. Mrs. Kaplan, you
I
are
will freeze.
24.
And the top is green.
You're going to freeze. 25.50, 2,300, 2,400, 1,800 for that beautiful gray Fairlane model. And the actual retail price of the item is in this envelope, and it is $2,383. Don't think, Mr. Coleman. You've got a long way to go yet. Congratulations. All right, now get set, because here it comes. The current Price is Right sweepstakes. All it takes is your estimate of the price of just one item, just that, and you can send all the postcards you like. And if you are the winner, not only do you win the fabulous prize, but we will bring you to New York, and you will appear as a contestant on The Price is Right. So take a good look and listen carefully.
What's your bid for this mink coat? A luxurious full-length design by Schiaparelli Furs, New York, fashioned of embossed dawn mink with swirl elbow-length sleeves and a dramatic large capelet collar, plus a beautiful lining with embossed velvet. This fabulous mink coat will be yours if you win the mink sweepstakes.
Next item, panel. Get on your mark. It's coming from the left. Look there.
A beautiful piano. Here it comes. The Model 50 Baby Grand by Somer & Company in elegant Louis XV styling with matching bench and executed in rich, gleaming mahogany. It features Somer's brilliance of response and depth of tone and carries a full 12-year guarantee. This magnificent small grand piano will fill your home with beautiful music if you make the most accurate bid. Price Authority, Somer & Company Incorporated, New York.
All right, and thank you, Dave. That was beautiful. And we're going to start the bidding this time with Mrs. Kaplan, and the minimum will be $100, Mrs. Kaplan.
$400.
$400 to you, Chaplain.
I'll bid 800.
You opened your mouth now? I thought you were going to sing that. $800. All right, now, what do you say, Mrs. Patrick?
900.
900. Mr. Tolman.
1,100.
1,100. All right, Mrs. Kaplan.
1,400.
1,400 to you, Chaplain.
This would be wonderful. Maybe my wife would start playing the piano again if I could win this.
Well, just
it's
concentrate.
1,400 to me.
It's 1,400 to you.
1,400 to me. I'll say 1,500.
1,500. All right, Chaplain Silverman's bid is 1,500 to you, Mrs. Patrick.
1,600.
16, Mr. Tolman.
I think I'm going to freeze.
You're going to freeze at 1,100. All right. And Mrs. Kaplan, you stand at 1,400.
I think I'll freeze.
You're going to freeze too, all right. Mr. Chaplain Silverman.
What's the high bid?
The high bid is Mrs. Patrick's at 1,600. You stand at 1,500.
I'll say 1,700.
1,700. And I guess that was, the next one will be the last bid for you, Mrs. Patrick. You stand at 16. The top is 17.
I'll say 2,000.
2,000, says Mrs. Patrick. Mr. Tolman is frozen. Mrs. Kaplan is frozen. Now, Chaplain Silverman, you stand at 1,700. The top is 2,000.
I'll say 2,100.
2,100. All right. 2,000, 1,100, 1,400, 2,100 for that beautiful Somer piano. And I have the actual retail price of this item in here, and it is $2,290. Chaplain Silverman, you've done it at last. Your wife can take lessons again. That's pretty nice, isn't it?
Oh, that's wonderful.
Good for you. Yes, indeed, Chaplain, you have a bonus. And so I want you to look over here at this board that Tony is standing next to. She's on one side, I'm on the other.
What in the world?
And you can see this quite clearly. We're going to see how good you are at the prices of a few other things. Hawaii and Rome. They represent a trip to Hawaii and a trip to Rome. Both are first-class jet flight airline round trips for two persons from New York. If you can tell us which is the more expensive trip, you win it. If you're wrong, of course, you lose it. Which is the more expensive trip, Hawaii or Rome? Which do you choose?
Hawaii.
All right, Tony, will you remove the top there, and we will see that the Hawaiian trip is $1,474. And the Rome trip is $2,129. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So you just can't travel now anyway. That's all there is to that. Now then, let's see the next prices, okay? Here is your next problem, a brooch and a ring. Take a good look at them. The brooch is designed in an elegant floral spray motif of aquamarine and diamonds set in a platinum mounting. Beautiful. And the ring is an unusual design of filigreed 14-karat gold rope loops holding a sparkling diamond there or several in a dome effect. All right, now, Chaplain, select the one that is more expensive, and you win it. Now, let's see if you have expensive taste. Which
May
is
I
it?
ask one question on this?
You can. I'm not sure I can answer it.
Are these all diamonds in the ring?
That's all. Those are all diamonds in
Those
that
are all
gold
diamonds
ring,
in the ring. Diamonds?
And diamonds and aquamarines in the brooch.
Goodness.
Goodness. I tell you, crazy at Fort Slocum. I'll give you 10 seconds.
I'll say the ring.
The ring. All right. Will you, let's see now. The ring is $10.50 and the brooch is $3,000. Oh, I'm sorry, Chaplain. Isn't that a shame? Now, we have another chance. Don't give up hope. Don't give up hope now. You're going to have a choice between a sable stole and a beaver jacket. The stole is fashioned of 10 skins of natural Russian sable. And the bolero jacket is made of white sheared beaver with tuxedo revers of ranch mink, and it's complete with a matching beret of sheared beaver. Now, Chaplain, which is more expensive, the sable or the beaver jacket?
Oh.
Huh?
I'll say the sable.
Oh, I'm so glad you said the sable for some unknown reason. Let's see what it is, Tony. How much is that? $1,500, and the beaver is $1,000. So congratulations, Chaplain Sullivan. Your wife has a beautiful sable and the piano. And there will be another fabulous prize to challenge your bidding skill in just... All right, now, panel. Give up the sable now, Chaplain. We're on to new work.
I feel hurt.
You just want to kind of hold on to it for a minute, is that it?
Oh, listen, I promised my wife a fur if I could get one.
You did?
I got it. That's all.
Now, wait a minute. Oh, well, it's all round here already. How about that? They just sprung that on me. What do you ever suppose that is? Don Pardo better tell us, huh?
A home in Florida. The popular, eye-catching Cherokee model, a two-bedroom house on a spacious, completely landscaped 80 by 125-foot home site. It's located at Cape Coral, the modern new waterfront city on Florida's beautiful west coast. This aerial view shows some of the Cape Coral's 138 miles of wide, navigable waterways. And this section is where the home is situated in block number 121. The living room is spacious, light and airy with a sliding glass wall that leads to a screened sun porch. The kitchen has a built-in oven and range, exhaust hood and Formica countertops, and the kitchen door leads to the patio. The 12 by 16 master bedroom is breeze conditioned and has a huge sliding door closet. In all, the Cherokee home encompasses 1,600 square feet of gracious living space on a 10,000 square foot Cape Coral home site. And it'll be yours if the price is right. Price Authority, Gulf Guarantee Land and Title Company, Cape Coral, Florida. Arlene?
All right, Chaplain Sullivan. Hardly have anything like that in Fort Slocum.
No.
And, so we're going to start the bidding with you, but I must tell you that the first bid has to be at least $5,000. After that, there will be a minimum of $100, but the opening bid must be at least $5,000. All right, Chaplain Sullivan, what do you say?
I'll bid $5,000.
Good. Mrs. Patrick.
Well, I've never been to Florida, but boy, I'm going to go if I get that. 6,000.
6,000. She's moved right out of Fort Worth there. All right, Mr. Tolman.
Well, I got sand in my shoes, so... 7,000.
7,000 to you. Mrs. Kaplan.
10,000.
10,000. All right, Mr. Silliman. Kaplan.
What a wonderful place to retire if I ever do.
Not yet a while.
10,000.
10,000.
I'll bid 11,000.
11,000, says Chaplain Silliman. All right, Mrs. Patrick, back to you.
12,000.
12,000. Mr. Tolman.
13,000.
13,000. Mrs. Kaplan.
13,100.
13,100. All right, Chaplain Silliman, you are standing at 11,000.
13,500.
13,500 to you, Mrs. Patrick.
13,600.
13,600. All right.
700.
13,700. Now, Mrs. Kaplan, here is your final bid. You stand at 13,100. The top bid is 13,700. 5 seconds.
I know. 16,500.
16,500. All right, Chaplain Silliman, you stand at 13,500. The top is 16,500.
I'm at 13,500.
You're 13,500.
And the top is
16,500.
I hate to take time. What are the other two bids?
The other two bids, one is 13,600, one is 13,700.
And I'm
You're
at 13,500, and the top is...
You're the lowest bid on there at the moment.
And the top is 16,500.
16,500. Come on, Chaplain.
I'll freeze.
Hey, I almost made you a general before we got by that. All right now, Mrs. Patrick, what do you say? 13,600 you stand at. The high is 16,500.
I'll freeze.
You'll freeze at 13,600. Mr. Tolman says 13,700, and the top is 16,500.
Is mine the last bid, Arlene?
You're the last bid right now.
16,600.
16,600. So it stands at 13,600, 16,600, 16,500, 13,500, and I have the actual retail price of this house in Florida on Cape Coral right in here, and it is $15,070, and the winner is Mrs. Patrick. You're going to take that trip. We're going to have the final scores and the name of the big winner as soon as the tabulation is done. And now it's time for the final accounting. Don Pardo, what is the score?
Mrs. Patrick has won for a total of $15,070. Mr. Tallman has won for a total of $8,353. Mrs. Kaplan, we're sorry you didn't win anything, but we have for you a famous Amana Frio Frost freezer with 557-pound capacity, plus Amana's exclusive frost magnet to completely prevent frost anywhere. Congratulations, and Chaplain Silliman has won for a total of $3,790. Arlene Francis, who is it?
Well, it looks perfectly clear that it's Mrs. Patrick again at $15,070. Congratulations, and thank all of you. Join us again next week when The Price is Right will again be brought to you by Lever Brothers. I'll see you then or tomorrow morning on the daytime Price is Right. Thanks a lot for being with us. This is Arlene Francis saying so long.
The Price is Right has been brought to you by Pink Lotion Lux Liquid in the new Nip and Squeeze plastic bottle. Lever Brothers unconditionally guarantee satisfaction or your money back. The Price is Right is a Mark Goodson, Bill Todman production. This is Don Pardo speaking.
Hi, this is Perry Como. Music, comedy, variety, and guest stars. That's our recipe for tonight's Kraft Music Hall Colorcast. Next on NBC. Then stay tuned for Peter Lind Hayes and Mary Healy as Peter Loves Mary. Tonight over most of these NBC stations.